My name's Guy Kessivan. I've been a professional bike and kit tester for over 25 years, and today I'm talking about the brand new Zipp 1zeroHITOP SW XC Trail Downcountry wheels. So Zipp aren't new to the mountain bike space. There was the 3.0 Moto Enduro wheel that came out probably 3 or 4 years ago now, which had a very, very distinctive single wall design. They borrowed from Moto technology, hence the Moto name, and that gave it what they call ankle compliance across the rim bed. So the rim would actually twist dramatically across the spoke heads. And then they used the same technology in the Explorer 101 rims, which, rumour has it, were initially going to be the XC rim to back up the Enduro rim, but in the later stages of testing, they found out they were just too flexible and riders just weren't getting that really positive pedalling feel that they wanted to race on, essentially. So they were moved across to being a gravel product, where in my review, I think I described them as being like putting tank tracks on your gravel bike. They really are incredible in terms of the compliance and the traction and the kind of rollover and unstoppability they can give to a gravel bike. And the Enduro wheels are very much the same. But because they have to use that thick single wall composite layup, they're actually pretty heavy. The difference with these wheels is they're only 1,400 grams. So that's 75 grams heavier than Zipp actually say they are, but that includes the TireWiz valve the pressure communicating TireWiz valves, which we'll get onto in a second, and rim tape, and that's weighed here in the workshop. So that's a verified weight rather than the claimed one. So that makes them a bit heavier than sort of ultralight wheels from Specialized, like the Roval Control SL, or the lightest Bontrager Covey RSL, which I've been testing on the Epic World Cup, and the Trek Super Caliber, respectively. But it makes them lighter than things like the Reserve XC28, rather than the Hunt Proven XC, and the Outlaw wheel from Fast Forward, which I've tested recently as well. So it's kind of mid-pack in terms of weight, but what really separates these wheels is kind of how tough they've come across as. Really early on in testing, if you know the the Ardmore's Enduro course up on Billsdale, you'll know there's a flat-out big bouldery riverbed section, and without kind of thinking about it, I went straight into that on the Cervelo. They've spent most of the time on my Cervelo ZFS full suspension test bike. So if you've not watched the intro on that, make sure you watch the review on that, and I'll be doing a long-term catch-up on all the things I've done and the kit I've changed on that recently as well. But basically, barreled into that flat out, all manner of horrible noises going in under the wheels. Was pretty sure I'd have at least blown a tyre, quite possibly cracked a rim. I wouldn't have been surprised if I cracked an Enduro rim down there, to be honest, but not only did they come out completely unscathed, but also clocked a PR on Strava on a section I've done countless times on much longer travel bikes as well. So they've got a real talent for shrugging off big impacts, drops, proper slap hits. And that comes from the not only the HITOP carbon fibre composite layup, which, to be honest, Zipp haven't really given much details about, but also there is some compliance still built into this, what is a relatively shallow 21.2 mil depth rim. It's 30 mil wide, and it's also highly asymmetric as well. It's hard to show on here, so I'll probably put a cross section of Zipp's PR up on the film. But yeah, super tough so far. My mate Ryan, who's a Patreon supporter, used the whole bike for charity Everesting at Stainburn, which again, if you know Stainburn, you'll know it's a horribly rocky, janky, unforgiving trek. So he did 21 hours on them last weekend, and everything still spinning absolutely fine. You know, bearings still feel great. Rims are still absolutely true. Spoke tensions are all spot on. So yeah, super durable, and they're covered by a lifetime warranty as well, which is always really useful. And you know, it's increasingly common now. I think you'd struggle to sell a performance carbon wheel now without that kind of warranty, but that's great for you guys who are actually buying them and living with them, because, you know, it means more and more companies have got your back kind of without question. In terms of other admin, the spokes are bladed. I haven't actually got any details on those either. But I'm presuming they're Sapim X-Ray, because that's the go-to spoke for Zipp. And the hubs, these ZM2 SLs, are effectively a lightened version of the ZM2 hubs used in the 3.0 Moto rims, but with a skinnier body, which is particularly obvious on the front wheel there. And as you can see, these come with torque caps. So that's the oversized end caps that sink better into the front of your RockShox fork, running on a SID here, but they'll stiffen up that wheel interaction between that interplay between fork and wheel on any RockShox fork. They only come in 29er and only come in boost, so they are, you know, a dedicated sort of race fast bike wheel, but that kind of ties in with their low weight, and they're 30mm internal, so they'll take pretty much any tyre. As you can see, I've run them on 235 Recon. I've run them on 2.4 Forecaster, although to be fair, that's actually a 225 in actual width. And I've also run them on 225s as well, and there have been zero problems on any rim size, and nice and easy to set up as well. They have got quite a broad, what they call a wing on top of the rim, which helps shrug off pinch punctures. Look closely there, you can see there's a little lip just on the edge of the rim there. Again, it's something that Specialized also use on their Control SL rim, and it really does seem to help stopping pinch punctures. I've not had any pinch flats on these wheels in about 3 months of use, so that's a good sign, because I'm only using lightweight carcass rims. You can see just from the scuff marks on this tyre from the weekend, these wheels have had a lot of abuse recently. What else do you need to know? Hub engagement, super quick. It's a 66-point free hub in there, and that gives it a 5.45 degree engagement, so pretty much instantaneous. You're only going to beat that with something like an Industry 9 Hydra hub, but they are relatively vocal, so if you want a super stealthy wheel, then these probably aren't your choice. What's there? Another thing to talk about is TireWiz, which you can see there. Got a little red LED blinking on the valve there. That means these are slightly under pressure. Orion just burped them slightly in the final furlong of his Everesting attempt. But if we look at the front one, it's got a green LED blinking on it. So this one's still at the correct pressure. And the Bluetooth or Ant Plus, connect those to your smartphone app. It's the same one that you use for your SRAM Axis systems as well. So, and then you set the bandwidth for the pressure you want within the app, and then it will go red or green depending on whether you're in that pressure. And to be honest, I thought it was a complete gimmick, but it's I think they're aftermarket. They're 30 quid and they weigh 10 grams, so they're not really doing a huge amount of damage in terms of price or weight. And it's just nice having a really quick, easy visual confirmation that your tyres are running in the right pressure band that you want them to be. And certainly useful, doing longer events like Ryan was doing. We could keep an eye on it for most of the time, and it was just at the end he dropped into the red on the rear tyre after burping it. But otherwise, it's just good. It's just one less thing to double check as you're wheeling the bike out. If you forget to squeeze the tyres, you just look down and go, okay, I'm red or I'm green. Or if you think you might have lost pressure during a run, again, just check and straight away. So yeah, well, expected to just think they were a complete needless kind of waste of money, but yeah, I've actually really enjoyed having them on here. The only real downside, to be honest, overall feel, I would say, is very similar to the Proven Hunt wheel or the Reserve XC28. So they're not super flowing and soft like the 3.0 Motos or the 101s. I wouldn't expect that. It's a very different construction. But they've got a really nice prompt feel. They're light enough to properly pep up your acceleration. They feel particularly accurate at the front, which is a surprise given the skinny hub. But both Ryan and I noticed that when you kind of when a tighter wheel might get like judded out on a corner turning out, or a sloppy wheel would just kind of feel vague. These have a real good tenacity when it comes to carving in on like an off camber or rutted, rooty, rocky corner where it can often get sort of knocked out of line. These will continue carving in, and like I say, they really take big hits well. But I'm not saying they're, you know, super comfortable. You know, you still have to drop tyre pressures a bit to get that really flowy ride feel on them, which you wouldn't with the 101 or 130 Moto. And they're not quite as super tight and peppy as something like the Fast Forward Outlaw or the Specialized Roval Control SL. So, mid-pack wheel, better than most on weight, extremely tough so far. The only real downside is the price. £2,000 is a lot of money to pay for a wheel set, but I think you'll struggle to find a wheel under 1,500 grams that's going to be much cheaper than this, especially with the lifetime warranty and the toughness and the kind of tech involved in these wheels. You know, from a big name anyway. Once you get over 1,500 grams, you're getting wheels like the Hunt Proven XC, which is, I think, 1,530 grams, so 130 gram weight penalty, but very similar feeling wheel and comes with a similar warranty as well. So again, it depends on your budget whether you think these are a bargain. But there is also a Zipp 1zeroHITOP S wheel, which is exactly the same rim. So you've got all the rim advantages in there. It uses cheaper spokes. I think they're just a round spoke, and it uses a slightly heavier 900 hub with a slightly slower hub engagement, but still, I think it's still 6 degrees or thereabouts, so certainly not really gappy and slow. And they come in at 1,500 quid. So if you're looking for your bargain Zipp XC downcountry trail option, those are the wheels that are probably worth looking at. But you can go all out. You like the idea of having your pressure being constantly monitored, and in terms of ride feel, these are absolutely spot on. You know, I'm in no hurry to take these off the bike. I've got pretty much every lightweight rim I could wish for available for test at the moment, and I'm probably going to stick with these just because that reassurance when they properly slam something, they seem to be able to shrug it off better than other rims I'm riding at the moment. So yeah, cracking job from Zipp. Just a small matter of money, which is something that's even more important to a lot of us at the moment. But for now, I hope that's been a useful introduction to the wheels. They've certainly had a lot of hammer, and they've proved good so far. Massive thanks to you for watching, and if you haven't clicked subscribe, click for subscriptions, click for notifications so you can see my next test or tech video coming up. And if you really like what I'm doing, please consider supporting me on Patreon, which is my subscription site, and those guys get early, extended and exclusive edits, and they get them ad-free as a thank you for supporting the site with a small monthly donation. But massive thanks as always to my usual channel supporters at Zero Cycling UK, PT's Products, Enduro Bearings, Talk Nutrition, Crud XL Fenders, Hebtro Co, and Clothing.